I was 86 kgs when I started lifting weight, like even before I started lifting weights initially. From there, I went all the way to 63 kgs. I lost 23 kgs. And from there, I was so lean that my mom told me that I look like a patient. So I thought that I didn't look like someone who lifted weights. So I was so lean. And from there I decided, oh, I should pack muscle. So from 63 kgs, right now I'm at 73 kgs. So I put back 10 kgs on. My fitness journey has been such a roller coaster ride. I lost weight and then I gained weight.
A Sankarshan Joshi trip.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to a Sankarshan Joshi Trip podcast. This is your host, Sankarshan Joshi. If you're here for the first time, thank you. Thank you for being here. It makes me so happy. Uh, this is the most happiest thing of the week that I always look up to doing this podcast. It's very not rewarding, but it makes me very happy. So, like I've mentioned in the thumbnail, this episode I'll be talking about my fitness journey from being a fat kid to getting fit. It's been a 2 year journey. There is no quick fix if you're looking for losing body fat in 30 days or 7 days or 10 days or absurd number of days. I'm I'm so sorry to say this episode is not for you, but if you want to look for long term health and if you want to lose fat on a long run basis and not gain it back very fast, then you've come to the right place because that is exactly what my journey has been. Initially, when I started lifting weights or when I started to think to lose body fat, to being sure, it's been such a roller coaster ride. There have been so many things that I learned on the way. There's so many things that I got to learn about myself, about my body. There's so many paradigm shifting moments because there are so many things that you think are true when it comes to fitness, right? But when you start learning or when you start doing something for a long time, you learn a lot of nuances of that field. Like that's the same thing that happened to me over a period of time. There's a lot of things that I learned when it comes to fitness. So me learning these things, if I would have known all these things earlier, I would have reached the goal that I wanted to much more quicker. Let me just give you down a rundown of today's episode. So, initially, I'll be talking about my fitness journey in brief, why I started lifting weights, and then I'll be telling the 10 points, so the 10 things that helped me, is helping me to to stay fit or to get even more fitter or healthier. So, uh, to start off with, the reason why I started working out the is the exact reason why most of the people want to work out is because they're insecure about how they look. That is exactly why I started working out. My When I looked around, right, all my friends, all my female friends in the circle, they were always attracted to someone with a chiseled jawline, or like they had like a broad shoulders of like physically attractive, much more attractive. So that made me very insecure because I didn't have a chisel jawline. I had double chin, and yeah, I was very insecure about myself. So when I looked into mirror, I always thought, damn, what if I had a jawline? Would people get attracted to me too? Or if I had a broad shoulders, would people get attracted to me too? I want to be that dude too. I want to be that cool dude that everyone keeps looking at, everyone gets attracted to. You know how they show in movies? Yeah, that's exactly how I wanted to have. I wanted to have like one payback where everybody looks at me and say that, oh, this dude is cool. I know when I look back that's such a toxic motivation, but that's the fact. So that's exactly the reason why I started working out. I wanted to get ripped. I wanted to get fit. So my fitness journey has been 2 years. I've did so many mistakes of them, which I'll be covering in the episode. If I didn't do those mistakes, I would probably not learn what I have learned so far. So probably me telling you guys all of this could help you reach your goal much more faster. So I was 86 kgs when I started lifting weight, like even before I started lifting weights initially. From there, I went all the way to 63 kgs. I lost 23 kgs. And from there, I was so lean that my mom told me that I look like a patient. So I thought that I didn't look like someone who lifted weights. So I was so lean. And from there I decided, oh, I should pack muscle. So from 63 kgs, right now I'm at 73 kgs. So I put back 10 kgs on. My fitness journey has been such a roller coaster ride. I lost weight and then I gained weight. So I understand the story from both the perspectives. So a lot of people kept asking me for tips or how I transform, what did I do, what was my routine. So and then one of my friend asked me on my podcast if losing weight or like building muscle or gaining weight, which is hard. So I think that me like going through this journey like of 2 years losing and gaining fat, now I understand what is what because I've done both of those things. So yeah, now let's get straight to the 10 things that helped me get fit. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ripped. So I actually made notes. This is the first time ever for a solo episode that I made notes. Usually for my solo trips, I just talk about what comes in my mind because there's so many new things that come to my head while I'm talking. So it's all over the place. So yeah, I mean, condensing 2 years of my fitness journey and noting down all the things that has helped me. I mean, come on, like I cannot remember everything, right? So I had to take notes. So first point is I had to take control of my actions. I had to stop whining and start working. When you look at someone with ripped abs, when you look at someone who has amazing physique in movies or TV shows, it looks unreal, right? Like it looks very far fetched. It feels like, come on, man, you cannot be that guy. Like I don't know, for some weird reason, it feels very in the fantasy world. It doesn't look like very real. So one day I just snapped and I decided, fuck this, man. I want to feel good. I want to feel fit. I want to feel confident. So I started lifting weights. So that was the first thing that helped me. I had to stop whining and start taking action. I had to take control and take action. That's the first thing. And the second thing is understanding how fat works. What is fat? I mean, I'm not going to give you guys a biological explanation because I'm not a nutritionist nor a personal trainer. So whatever I'm going to talk in this episode is purely based on my experience. So I like understanding how fat functions gave me a very holistic perspective about fitness and nutrition. So let me give you guys an example. So uh, for a car to run, it needs fuel, right? Exactly, for our body to function, we need fuel too. That fuel or energy comes from food that we eat. So we need energy slash calories to do our daily activities, from breathing, pumping blood to digesting food. We do so many voluntary and involuntary actions on a everyday life, on a day to day basis, that we need these calories to do those actions. In order to perform these actions, your body needs certain amount of calories. Your this like there's so much of individual variant to this. How many calories you burn on a daily basis might not be same as how many calories I burn on a day to day basis. There's so much individual variant to this. So on a day to day basis, you burn certain amount of calories, and if you consume more than the maintenance calories, if you consume more than what your body can burn, those calories will be stored as fat. So when you look at it from physics perspective, energy can neither be created nor be destroyed. It can be transformed from one form to another. So your body just doesn't flushes out the extra food or calories that you give it in. It actually stores it. It transforms from food to, yeah, some other form. I don't know what that form is because I don't know biology as much. So yeah, it gets transformed and it stores in our body. So if you look at it from evolutionary perspective, right, we had to store those extra, like we had to store all the calories that we can, because food wasn't that easy to get. Like back then people didn't have a fridge in their in their cave. They could just open and grab something and eat. They had to hunt for it. They had to search. There was so much. They had to put in so much effort to eat food, to get food. So that is the first point. Since food was hard to get, it had to store whatever it gets. And the second point is, we used to have natural disasters, famine. We would have so many natural occurrences that would destroy people's ability to find food. So your body knows that you need to store food, so that just in case if there is a famine or if there is a natural disaster or something that happens, it can use those extra calories. So this is what I'm assuming based on what I have read. This is just my story. This is my understanding, because a lot of what we are today, a lot of what happens in our body is determined from what used to happen to us when we were cavemen. A lot of things. So yeah, I'm assuming this is where the origin of storing food comes from a psychological and evolutionary perspective. So yeah, now that we know that eating more than what our body needs to maintain, that will be stored as fat. So when I understood this, now I became very, very aware of what I was eating, how many calories I was consuming. So yeah, I do understand that. The third point is setting a goal. So this fucking social media and YouTube, there's so many people with such amazing physique that, like, when you look at them, you want to be like them, you want to look like them. So when you were setting a goal, you look at someone and be like, I want to look like this guy. That is where you start setting your goal, right? And over the period of time, I realized that not all YouTubers, not all fitness models are natural. When I say natural, they use performance enhancement supplements like testosterone boosting steroids, or they use growth hormone. They use a lot of performance enhancement supplements. So I cannot do what they're showing in that YouTube video to get the abs that he has, because he took steroids and I'm not going to take steroids. So in the fitness space, a lot of fitness influencers have been selling so much bullshit to get abs, or to get this biceps, or to get this arms, or to get that. They've been selling so much shit that it's impossible to reach where they are doing the exercises that they are showing on the YouTube. So yeah, setting a goal, like my goal, they kept changing over the period of time. Initially I wanted to look a certain way. I wanted to look ripped. I wanted to have like chisel jaw, and I want to look like the YouTuber or social media that people think is cool. So from there, I moved my goal to from aesthetics to performance, and I started focusing. Like, I thought that that route didn't take me to a greater places. Like, it made me feel more insecure. It started getting toxic, so I had to change my goal uh, from looking a certain way to performing a certain exercise correctly or lifting more heavier. Like, it became more performance basis, and from performance it changed to functionality. It changed to getting more functional at a certain exercise, working on my mobility. So in order to, like, I cannot do a proper Indian squat because I don't have a foot mobility. I cannot sit in that Indian squat stance, so like a full flex squat. So I've been working on my foot mobility. I am still working on my foot mobility, so that is my current goal. So my goal kept changing over the period of time. Initially, as I've mentioned, my goal was to look a certain way by losing body fat. So now that I had my goal in mind, which was to lose body fat, now, which takes me to my fourth point, which is, how do I reach that goal? How do I lose body fat? Let me ask you guys this question. When you think of losing body fat, what is the first thing that comes to your mind to lose body fat? Come on, I'll give you time. Like, think about it. That either involves some form of running, swimming, or some form of hit workout, or some form of cardio. Basically, some form of cardio or yoga. Or there are a lot of cardiovascular exercises that people can think of in order to lose body fat. That is the first thing that comes to your mind, right? That's that's the same thing that came to my mind when I started lifting weights initially. But the problem with that is, cardio is not the best way to lose body fat. Let me just explain you guys why cardio is not the best way to lose body fat. Because cardio, it's more endurance based. So let's say running. When you start doing some form of cardio like running, the more you do it, the better your body gets at performing that particular action. So, as your body gets better at performing that particular action, you don't burn as many calories as you used to, because now your body is very effective at doing the same action with less calories, because that's what body does. Like, it gets better at whatever you do. So, the more cardio you do, the better your body gets at doing that. So, what does it mean? So you start losing as many calories as you used to initially when you started doing that, exercise, like 1 week back. Initially you're going to lose weight because before that you weren't doing any action at all, and now you started doing a form of cardio. You will lose like you will lose weight because now you're doing some form of action, but that weight loss will stop after a point of time. You will hit a plateau. So now what do? Now you start working out even more. You spend much more time uh, doing cardio, and you start eating even lesser than you used to lose weight. And now your body gets better at at performing that action, and now you hit a plateau again. You don't you stop losing weight. So then what do? You eat even less, and you start working even more, and then you lose body fat initially. Again your body gets better at it, and you hit a plateau. Blah 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 blah. That's the same loop over and over again, and then you hit a wall, and then you go crashing down, and then you go off the wagon, and you get super frustrated, and you're like, fuck this shit, man. You don't want to do this anymore. Now you're like, you feel very demotivated, and you feel that you were meant to be fat, like maybe your genetics, or like yeah, like you're not motivated anymore, so you stop working out. Then what happens? Then you start eating all the junk that you stopped eating before. Like, you start eating all that shit back again. Now what happens is you start gaining all the weight back again. And it's not just gaining weight back again. When you lose weight while doing cardio, you lose 50% of it as muscle. Let me repeat that again. So, muscle is a very expensive tissue to maintain and hold for your body. So, when you start doing cardiovascular exercises, your body gets rid of that muscle because it feels like it's useless to hold on to that because you're not performing any action enhancing your muscle, like or to build or hold that muscle. So you start losing the muscle because your body needs to get better at that particular endurance form. So when you look at marathon runners, right, they are not bulky, like they don't pack on a lot of muscles because in order to perform that form of endurance action, you need to have less muscle. Like when it comes to sports, right, like footballers, when you say someone who plays football, soccer, so you don't see someone who's very bulky and like built and super built, because that will make him bulky and that will hinder his performance in the field. He'll feel heavy, he cannot move very freely as he used to when he was lean. So because your body is very smart, your body is very smart, and it's always adaptive to what you give in the form of food and what you do with respect to workout or action. So now that we have established that cardio is not the best way to lose body fat, what is the best way? It is resistance training and lifting weights. So what exactly is resistance training? Resistance training is flexing your muscle with a certain weight and resistance to it. In simple words, let's say I do a bicep curl. When I do a bicep curl, like this, I am flexing my bicep and I am contracting it back again with some resistance. That is as simple as it is. That is resistance training. So, let me tell you why resistance training and why building muscle is the most effective way to lose weight, lose fat for long term success. So, when you build muscle, in order to build muscle, you need calories. In order to maintain muscle, you need calories. So whatever calories that you give in, whatever extra calories that you give into your body as a whole, part of it goes to building muscle. Like part of it goes to building muscle. So now initially when we were talking about the second point, which is understanding fat, we I mentioned that the extra calories that you give into your body above maintenance will be stored as fat, right? So now this extra calorie will be used to building muscle. So this extra calories will goes to building muscle. It doesn't store as fat anymore. Regardless of whatever gender you are, male, female, resistance training works best for everybody. There are so many fitness myths when it comes to female female lifting weights. So like female, like incorporating resistance training. There's so many myths. Hopefully I will be bringing guests from this field, and we will shed more light on female fitness myths in like further episodes. To continue with this episode, regardless of whatever gender you are, resistance training works best to lose body fat and for long term success. The other thing why you need to build muscle is when you build muscle, it also regulates your insulin level. There's so many hormones that balances out just by building muscle. So as you get older, 50 plus, 40 plus, when you start losing muscle, when you start losing muscle, your body starts depending on bone first support and strength. Usually muscle helps you like hold a position, or like keep you strong, or like hold in a certain posture. Now that you're losing muscle, you start relying on bones for strength instead of muscle. So the point of muscle is not to 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 hold your posture strong. Like you cannot rely on bones for strength. That's not what it's made for. So what will happen is your bone will start getting weaker, it'll start losing its density as you get old. So how do you stop that? Simple, by building muscle. So yeah, like now that we have mentioned the best way to lose body fat for long term success, regardless of whatever age that you are in, now that we have established what path to take, what process to equip to reach that goal, now we have to establish what workout plan do I create to incorporate resistance training and lifting weights. So initially when I started lifting weights, I used to hit one muscle per day. So I used to go to the gym. I would do biceps and come home. The next day I would go. I would hit chest. I would come home. This is called bro split. So I used to do this. I I I did this for a long time, and I saw very very minimal results when I did this. So slowly after a long time, after like 8 months to 9 months, so slowly I started grouping muscles. So I randomly I saw I read an article which said like grouping muscle will give you best benefits. I saw a YouTuber do that in his vlog. So I started grouping muscle by bicep and back, tricep and chest. So like Monday I would do back and biceps. Tuesday I would do chest and triceps. Thursday I would do abs and legs. And the fourth day I would do shoulders. So this was my routine for a long time. And I saw my body transform when I did that. Like I started to see some change in my body when I did that. So slowly from there, from grouping two muscles a day, two, I started I started grouping my muscle based on the action. I started incorporating push, pull, and legs routine. So what is push, pull, and legs routine? It's basically in order to perform a certain action, like pushing something, you engage certain muscles like chest, shoulders, and triceps. So these are the three muscles that you engage when you do that action called push. Like when you push something, you do that. When you pull something, you incorporate back, biceps, and rear delts. Rear delts is the is the be like the back portion of the shoulder, close which is closer to the back. So these are the three muscles that you engage when you pull something. And the next would be legs. So for legs I would work on my core, abs, and legs. So I like when I started doing this, I saw the most results. I could literally see my body transform when I did this, because I was hitting each muscle twice. So why is that important? Why is that needed? With resistance training, right? All you need to give your body is you need to send your body muscle building signals. So you need to tell your body to build muscle. You need to tell your body to build muscle. So when you lift weights, you're sending a signal to your body to build muscle. So when you hit a particular muscle 2 or 3 times a week, that will give a lot of muscle building signal to your body, hence you end up building a lot of muscle. So this is why you need a proper workout routine. And the another important thing is, initially when you start working out, you entirely rely on motivation. You're like, fuck, I want to get ripped, like, fuck. Like, you go to the gym, you're like fully motivated, but some days you're not. Like, you cannot rely on motivation because you're not motivated forever. You need to rely on discipline. So, when you create a workout plan for yourself, you are creating a discipline to reach your goal, even though you're not motivated some days. You have on days and off days, right? Like, you're happy someday, you're sad someday. But if you have a discipline to follow the workout plan, you're gonna reach that goal. So what is the next point? So now that we have established creating a workout plan is the fifth point. The sixth, one of the most important thing, is nutrition. You need to pay a lot of attention to what you eat in order to lose body fat. Like nutrition plays a lot, it plays a huge role. It's almost like nutrition is more important when it comes to losing body fat. I mean, yeah, like building muscle like that is very very important, but if I had to compare between those two, nutrition is more important to lose weight, to lose body fat, especially protein. Like protein is an important macronutrient. So macronutrient is something that you need to consume in in bulk, like grams. They're micronutrients. So you don't need vitamin C, like 100 grams of vitamin C. It's mostly in milligrams. So that's why it's micronutrient. So macronutrient, protein is a very important macronutrient with carbs and fats. So why is protein important? Protein is important to build muscle. Like it's crucial to build muscle and lose fat. So according to Indian Market Research Bureau, Indians underconsume protein by 80%. Can you fucking believe that? We underconsume protein by 80%. Why? Because most of us are vegetarian, and even if you are a non-vegetarian, you eat non-veg occasionally. And when it comes to vegetarian, there are not a lot of rich protein sources which give you a lot of protein. In order to eat a lot of protein, you need to increase the amount of food that you're consuming. Anyways, protein is very 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 important. And now that I understood nutrition is so important, like this actually changed my a lot of things uh in my fitness journey. Initially, so far I've mentioned my workout plan, how I started, what was my workout plan initially when I started, how did it change, blah blah blah. But what I didn't mention there was my nutrition. So initially when I started, I didn't give a fuck about my nutrition. I would eat whatever the fuck I want. I didn't care honestly about my nutrition. I didn't pay attention. Slowly I started paying attention. I started reducing the amount of meals that I was having, which turned out to be negative, like which was not good thing. But at that time, I slowly started. I would eat one meal of oat, milk, peanut butter. Like that was one meal, and the other meal was whatever I would find. So whatever I could eat, I would eat that. So I would eat two meals. So I was still under consumed protein. I didn't see a lot of change at all. I didn't. So this was when my workouts were helping me lose weight, but I wasn't building any muscle. Like I wasn't finding any definition. Like I wasn't able to see any definition in my muscles. Like I was getting leaner and leaner, but I wasn't seeing any definition. I saw the most results when I paid attention to the amount of protein that I was consuming. Like, so slowly what I did was I started incorporating protein to every meal. So now I eat 3 meals a day, and I make sure there is some form of protein that I eat per meal. So this way it gets easier to consume the protein that you're supposed to consume. So usually you need to consume 1 gram of protein per kg of body weight. So that is minimum. Even though you work out or you don't work out, you do any form of physical activity or you don't, that's the decent amount of protein that you're supposed to consume. So from there, you can follow the workout plan, you can do all your things, you can hit that target first, like 1 gram of protein per kg. This might seem very easy when you listen to me, but incorporating takes a lot of discipline. it like into your diet, like incorporating, like making sure that you're eating that much protein takes a lot of discipline. Um, and I had to make sure that I had some form of protein. So I took one meal per time. Like I didn't care about what I was gonna have next meal, what I was gonna have in the whole day. I just focused on one meal. I'm like, okay, this is in this meal, what protein sources can I incorporate? Can I add peanut butter to this? Can I add soya chunks to this? Can I add chana to this? Can I add paneer to this? Can I add curd to this? Can I add peanuts to this? I would think about all this. So when I started when I started thinking this way, it made me very easy to hit my protein target. So now let's say my mom cooked rice and she did dal. I would just I would boil soya chunks and I would add to that and eat. Or paneer, add that to it. Shallow fry it and add that to it and eat. If my mom did chapati or like wheat bread, I would apply peanut butter to that and I would eat. So I always had this backup protein sources with me so that regardless of whatever my mom cooked that day, I would add this to that and I would eat per meal, per meal. So yeah, I'd like this is one thing that helped me hit my protein target. The seventh point, the seventh important thing was understanding what the fuck metabolism is. Understanding metabolism changed my changed my workout plan a bit, changed my the calories that I was consuming a bit. So like I mentioned during my second point where I was explaining what fat is about maintenance calories, metabolism is the same. Metabolism is the same as maintenance calories. How much your ability, your body's ability to burn X amount of calories to maintain itself is called metabolism. And let me ask you guys this question. If there was a chance that you could eat more and not get fat, would you choose that option? Of course you would. Who the fuck wouldn't? If you wouldn't, then you're crazy. Because there is a way to do that. You can actually increase your metabolism. You can actually increase your maintenance calories by building muscle, because all the extra calories that you're consuming goes to building and maintaining that muscle. Isn't this crazy? Isn't this cool? This is so awesome. Like this thing changed. Like this even some days when I was eating extra calories, I wasn't feeling guilty because of because I was aware of this fact. Like it is okay to bump your calories some days. You don't have to always eat lesser. You know, like some days you can eat more. Maybe that would help my metabolism. Like this is what I was thinking initially. So basically let me give you a small explanation on how you can see or like how you can go about with this entire metabolism thing. When you start working out, right, eat whatever you're eating with respect to the number of calories that you're consuming. So how do you like you can just you can download MyFitnessPal app, or you can there's so many online platforms where you can just count the amount of calories in whatever you're eating. So that way you know how many calories that you're eating per day. And when you start when you start lifting weights, right, keep checking your weight on the scale. So weekly once. So let's say you you started losing weight, then you can bump your calories. So again you start losing weight, then again you can bump your calories. So initially your goal should be to not lose any weight at all. Like eat whatever you're eating with respect to number of calories and keep checking the scale and make sure you're not losing weight. What does this say? You're working out, but you're not losing weight. That means that there is some change happening in you, but you're not exactly losing weight, but your composition is changing. Like you're losing your inches, you're becoming lean, but you're not exactly losing weight. Because Muscle is much more heavier than fat. So even if you gain little bit amount of muscle, and if you lose a lot of body fat, like, you will still say the same weight, because their weight is very disproportional. So what happens is, if you start losing weight, then you can slowly bump your calories. So let's say you're 70 kilos and you start lifting weights and you're eating 2000 calories, and slowly you start losing weight. Then bump your calories to 2100 calories, and then maintain that, and make sure you don't lose weight. Let's say you start losing your weight again, then you move from 2100 calories to 2200 calories. So if you keep doing that, you are remaining the same weight, but the amount of calories that you're eating is increasing. So this way you have boosted your metabolism. Whew. I am so happy that I was able to explain this without blabbering something. Yeah, I'm glad I explained this. Eighth point is, overtraining and beating yourself is not good at all. Overtraining has more negative than positive benefits. I am not joking. Because when you start losing weight, right? Like when you want to lose weight, you're always in this mindset of beating yourself up, where you equate sweat to progress. The more you sweat, it gives you a feeling that you're losing a lot of body fat. So we need to rewire that, because beating yourself up and overtraining doesn't give you a lot of benefits. Because when you overtrain, you're not letting your body to recover. Let's say you're lifting weights and you want to beat yourself up, you want to like you're always lifting heavy all the time. Your body is in this constant phase that like you're breaking your muscle by lifting heavy, and then it's still repairing. It's repair, 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 but there is no progress. So when you lift weights or when you do resistance training in moderation, then your body from repair, it moves to building, it moves to progress. So when you're always in this mindset of beating yourself up, like more, like there's no rest, like if you always keep doing that, it has more harm. Like you don't lose a lot of like fat by doing that, like you don't gain a lot of muscle by doing that. You just put your body through a constant repair phase. It's not growing, it's not progressing. So learning this changed my entire fitness journey. I know I keep saying entire fitness journey to every point, because each point has impacted my journey. Each and every point that I'm mentioning and I will be mentioning, they impacted so profoundly to my fitness journey. So that's why I keep saying this impacted to my fitness journey the most to every point. When I started overtraining during the pandemic, that was when I started overtraining, because there was nothing else for me to do. So I used to work out for 2 hours a day, and I would eat two meals. I would just eat two meals, and I thought that was cool. I was like, oh, I was eating less, but I'm able to work out for 2 hours. Is that cool? Like I was being much more efficient, but no, I was stupid. Like I lost weight, but I didn't gain a lot of muscle. So when people looked at me, it didn't seem like I didn't look like someone who lifted weights. I was so surprised, because I'm busting my ass 2 hours a day, but I'm not seeing any muscle on me. Why is that? Because I was overtraining. So this is what I did. When I realized this point, when I learned this point, I cut my workout in half. I used to work out 1 hour a day, and I started adding one more meal to the day. So I was eating two meals. Now I started eating three meals. So that would come to close to my maintenance calories. To me, eating more was hard, because I was always scared about like gaining weight, because I was so insecure when I started. To me, eating more was so hard. So when I did that, when I cut my workout in half, when I bumped the amount of calories that I was eating, I saw my arms grow. I saw my tricep grow. Like Like I saw my friends after a month and they would notice the change in me. I was so surprised. I was like, all this while I spent so much time overtraining. If I trained minimum and if I ate moderately, I would have gained more results more quickly. So yeah, that this has been like a crucial point. And it sometimes it gets in your head, right? Because let's say you eat some junk food, you wanna, like, now you're guilty because you had that and you might get fat. like like this thought will makes you, it makes you super anxious. So now what do, it you go to the gym and you start working out even more, like you start overtraining, because it's driven from insecurity. So when you're, like, when your progress is driven from insecurity, you will end up there for sure, where I ended up. You start overtraining and you start beating yourself up a lot. So yeah, this, like, I had to change this, and this impacted to my mental health also positively. So yeah. And the next point, ninth point, is developing healthy behaviors. This this is very crucial, and this helped me achieve my goals, and I'm sure this will keep helping me achieve my goals, because in order to reach a certain destination, right, you got to work on the process, not just fixating on the goal. You need to work on the progress, on the process, on the journey there. So when you work on your behaviors, right, when you start developing healthy behaviors, that is when you see a lot of change. So now what I do is, if I go to a restaurant, I choose healthier options over junk. So just a slight change. So now when I, like, for example, let me just throw in a random example. I prefer wheat based pizza than maida based pizza, because maida doesn't make me feel good. Like it makes me constipated. Plus I see no health benefits in maida. So I prefer wheat based over maida based. And if I'm traveling and I'm looking for snacks, I'd either go for like granola bars or protein bars or just peanuts. Like I would prefer peanuts. You just get like peanuts packet for $10. So I'd prefer that. And yeah, I think that when you develop healthy behaviors, right, these behaviors will dictate your long term benefit. Like if you keep restricting yourself to a diet or to a regiment and you're not doing anything else, except like you're not eating like you're eating zero junk, you're like full strict with your diet, this is not what you can do forever. You cannot keep eating like a strict diet forever. You're gonna go attend a wedding, you're gonna go have fun with your friends, and like you, like if you develop these behaviors and you have them healthy, even though you eat junk some days, it's still okay, because you have developed a discipline and a healthy behavior which will keep you on the track, which will keep you on the journey. And when it comes to behaviors, you also have to think about health in general. It's not always about like having the most aesthetic look. It's not always it's not always about lifting the most weight. It is about feeling healthy. Are you feeling healthy? Do you feel good? Like when you think from this perspective, on developing behaviors which will keep you healthy is the most important. Like this is what I think can keep you. A lot of people, they become thin, they become fit, and then they go back to being fat. Let's take Thanmay Bhatt's example. He lost a bunch of weight, but then again he got all the weight back again. Why? Because he worked on his actions and not his behavior. So while he was losing weight, he was working on the actions, like, oh, I gotta eat this healthy, I gotta do this workout, I gotta go to this. But all the behaviors that and all those psychological things that made him overeat, he didn't work on them. So if you have a tendency to overeat, or if you see that food as a medicine, like if you, like every time you're upset, you if you navigate towards food, with workout plan and with paying attention to your nutrition, you also have to see a therapist, because therapist is the one who will work on the behavioral part of it. So behaviors is the most crucial thing. So I used to feel super guilty when I had something like some junk food before, because I was so insecure. uh, uh, Even though I was losing weight, I was still that insecure kid in my head. So I was like, oh, I started feeling anxious because I had some junk food. But now I know and I trust my behaviors, that even though I eat some junk, even though I had something, now I can go back. I can, like, I'm not gonna do this every day, because I've established healthy behaviors for myself. So I don't feel anxious anymore. I don't feel guilty anymore when I eat some junk food. I mean, if I eat a lot of junk for like continually 2 or 3 days, then I start like feeling anxious. Like that insecure kid in me is still there. But yeah, this is the most important thing. One of the most important thing. Yeah, I keep saying this to every point. The last point, the 10th point is sleep. I saw one of the best results when I paid attention to my sleep. So I started paying attention to the amount of sleep that I was getting. I made sure that I got 6 to 8 hours of sleep, because I I had a super unhealthy sleeping pattern. I would sleep like super late, wake up super late. So I would always feel tired when I woke up. So when I was working out, I didn't feel as much energetic because I didn't get good sleep. And because of social media, it's become super hard to just fucking sleep. You want to watch a movie, or you want to do that, or you want to do this, because like you want to stay entertained, you don't want to sleep. But and we are also in a place where motivation is getting toxic. Like everybody is like, no sleep, work out, work this much hours a day, like don't get take rest, you have to work hard, you have to do that, you have to do this, to a point that it's getting toxic. So people don't care if they have sleep or not, they just want to work hard, they just want to be like successful at something. They're always doing this, or they're like super lazy. Like either end of the spectrum, like they're just lying on the couch and going through social media. Not gonna work, it's not gonna get you to sleep. The reason being, so when you look at a screen, your body always associates any form of light to sun. So like when you see a mobile screen, your body, it's like you're telling your brain that the sun is up. So when you, even though you want to go back to sleep, you don't get good sleep when you look at some form of like some device, some electronic device before going to sleep. So 1 hour before you sleep, like don't see any digital screens. I know this is very very hard. Like even I struggle with it a lot. This is not easy to me too. So but I work on it by establishing my like routines. Like I make sure that I go through my sleep routine. So now what is the sleep routine? Everybody has a morning routine, right? Like when they wake up, they're like, oh, first thing I do when I wake up is brush my teeth, or like drink coffee, or do that, do this. Why not have a sleep routine? So now what I do is I listen to a podcast so that I'm not seeing any screen, and I drink hot water for like 10 minutes. I sip on it. And then for 15 minutes, I do stretches. I work on my hip mobility, I work on my foot mobility. So I do that. And then I read something. So for like, and I will continue listening to the podcast until it ends. Like for 1 hour, I will do something that will not get me to look at a screen. And then I try going to sleep. So this is my routine. Like this is my discipline. Some days I fail, some days I sleep late, I do something, I watch something, or I edit this podcast like for late night, and then my routine gets fucked up. So then what do? I'm not depending on my motivation anymore, right? So now I'm like, okay, I have a routine for myself. Now I have to work on my behavior. So now I'm like, okay, next day let me work on it. So yeah, like that's what I do. We human beings are so fascinating. We could do so many things, not just by dictating the action. We also need healthy behaviors. We also need to feel healthy, which will dictate so many things in life. Like, so many things in life will be dictated just by feeling healthy. Even though you might have the most like six pack abs, the best six pack abs in the world, but you'll never know if they're healthy or not. They might have issues with food. They might be psychologically depressed. They might not have a healthy relationship with their loved one because they're always focused on calories. They don't go out, they don't eat, they don't have fun. They're always in the gym. That'll affect their relationship. So aiming for health is the best thing, is what I feel. This is where I am at. So now that we have come to the end of the episode, now that I've explained my journey throughout all these 10 things I have learned over a period of time, and in span of 2 years, it is not like this has been 2 years, and this is, I have a long way to go. I have a lot of things to accomplish in the field of, like, in fitness. There's a lot of things I can get better at. There's so many things that I could do better, and so I don't take these stupid people as my inspiration anymore. I don't look at YouTubers. I don't look at Instagram models as inspiration anymore because I don't know if they're healthy. They might look fit, but are they healthy? I don't know. So yes, I hope you guys take a step towards getting healthier. I hope you guys stay healthy. You can feel free to DM me and ask anything or share anything at the Sankashan Joshi Trip on Instagram. This podcast is recorded on video as well as audio. You can listen to the audio version on Spotify, JioSavan, and Ghana. You can find the video version on YouTube. Thank you once again, ladies and gentlemen, for listening to this stupid guy blabber about his fitness journey.
A Sankarshan Joshi trip.